ladies, welcome back to our channel. Now I'm excited that you guys are joining us, and my name is Leroy Francois, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about nutrition. Now if you've watched some of the previous videos, you've noticed that we started a little bit of a series about nutrition, and just to guide you guys about what it is that we need to eat, want to eat, and why we eat it. Mostly I focused the first video on that emotional connection we have with food. Now today we're going to just talk a little bit more about that. Besides the happy hormones and the sad hormones and everything that's affecting our food or what we want to eat, we're also going to explain to you why it is that our thought life will actually affect our weight. And yeah, so make sure that you guys are comfortable. Grab a water or a seat if you need to. This is going to be a quick video, about 10 minutes, and I'm just going to talk a little bit more about that thought life and how it affects the weight gain. Right, ladies, so basically if we talk about this thought life, there is a genetic and a spiritual and an emotional connection to our weight gain. Now, we've heard this before. The hypothalamus is the area in our brain that basically converts everything in our thought life into a physical reaction. So whatever we think, the bad thoughts, the good thoughts, all of that will be controlled by the hypothalamus. Now, if we end up having these bad thoughts and we have these toxic thoughts and we keep thinking about these horrible things, you know, when we look in the mirror and we say, oh, you know, you're so fat, you're so ugly, you're so this, that is actually affecting, those thoughts are affecting our weight gain at the end, you know. So what we want to do is we want to be careful and want to change the way that we think about ourselves. So our metabolism and the rate of our metabolism is affected by our thought life. So in response to these negative thoughts, the hypothalamus will send electrochemical signals to the thyroid glands, and the thyroid gland will then release hormones, and the main function of the thyroid hormone is to basically regulate the rate at which food gets metabolized. So that will control whether we have a fast or a slower metabolism. So basically when we are filled with this low self-esteem, horrible words to ourselves, these words of condemnation and these thoughts of condemnation basically, we will slow down our metabolic rate. So the hypothalamus will control this via the thyroid, and it will slow down that process and the rate at which we metabolize this food. So that's why we will end up gaining weight. And it doesn't matter then what kind of food you eat, your body will keep gaining it. It will not lose the weight because we've slowed down the metabolism, and this is just controlled by our thought life. So we can actually really make a change here by controlling our thought life. And I know this is a lot easier said than done, and it's very difficult because this is a little bit of a cycle. So I'm going to explain it to you in a minute how the cycle works and why it's so hard to get out of that negative cycle of bad thoughts and then overeating, and bad thoughts and overeating, and it just goes on like that. Right guys, so when we are constantly feeling depressed and we have a low self-esteem and we keep having these negative thoughts and negative talk to ourselves, the hypothalamus will actually pick that up, and it will sort of recognize these emotional problems we have. And one way for the hypothalamus then to respond is to lower the level of the serotonin. Now serotonin is a hormone, and the serotonin hormone is actually responsible for us to make us feel good and feel happy about ourselves. So now when the levels of serotonin is lower, we're actually going to feel worse. We will then need something to make us feel better, and actually something interesting, our mouth is a place or is a contact point for us to feel good and feel loved. So often that's where there's that connection between feeling bad and then eating. So when we feel bad, we're going to the kitchen, we want to grab something. Now we grab something, we put it in our mouth. That's why, just a little bit of background, remember when we're babies, when they're crying and they need to be comforted, we actually give them a pacifier to comfort them. So our mouth is a comfort place. So we will eat to make us feel better. Now we feel great, we eat something nice. Now what happens when we feel good? We actually release the hormone dopamine, and dopamine, as I said, makes us feel better and makes us feel happy. But that's a very short-lived time. So now once we've eaten that, we feel happy for a short while, and then the dopamine will wear off, because the dopamine is only for a short bit. Now it wears off. What happens when the dopamine wears off, we start feeling guilty. So again, we have the self-talk. We tell each other, or we tell ourselves, and we say, you know, why did you do that? You're so stupid, you're so fat, why did you eat that? You can't control something. And now that cycle continues. So now again, negative thoughts, hypothalamus, it will reduce the serotonin. So now we feel bad again. And now we go through the cycle where we need something else to make us feel good. That, we go to the kitchen, we eat some more food. And that's actually a very vicious cycle, and that will just continue. And that's another reason why this emotional yo-yo, and then the diet yo-yo and everything will actually add to the fact that we will keep gaining weight and we will never break that cycle and we can't lose the weight. So the key thing here is that we have to remember the only way we're going to break that is by actually changing our thought process. We have to change the way we think about ourselves and how we speak to ourselves. And we got to just cut that link and break that link, that negative connection with what we think and how our bodies respond to that. So ladies, besides the other advice that I've given you about our macronutrients and also about the calorie intake and the amount of calories we want to consume, we did speak about the emotional connection. I want to go and give you guys a little bit of homework. So whenever we feel bad, whenever we have that feeling and all these negative things, we have to stop this process by our thoughts. So when that thought comes up, take a note, take a little notepad or put it on your fridge or something. So we want to replace all the negative thought and the negative talk with good and positive and healthy thoughts and good and positive and healthy things that we say to each other. So when you catch yourself, when you look in the mirror and you're about to say, oh, you know, you're so fat, change it and find things to be grateful for and look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? Wow, thank you, body, for being healthy. Thank you for being capable. Thank you for being able to carry me. Instead of looking in the mirror and looking at your thighs and saying, oh, you know, you guys are so fat and so thick and you can't do that. Look at those thighs and say, wow, you know, your legs, I'm thankful for my legs. I can walk. I'm thankful for this. I can do that. Replace all those negative thoughts with positive things. Our hypothalamus will then respond differently and we won't lower the serotonin levels. Our thyroid will respond differently and our metabolic rate will increase and we will actually start burning the fat and we will recover. When I say our metabolic rate will be restored and our bodies will be able to work normally and optimally like it should. And then we will look at the other stuff as an obviously still doing the calorie control, because we can have positive and good thoughts, but if we eat junk all the time, it's still not going to be the right thing to do. So once we replace these negative thoughts, we obviously want to just keep an eye on our general calorie intake, and then we look at the macronutrients and the other stuff that I've explained in the videos. But guys, the first thing is I want to just encourage you guys, let's be kind to yourself. Be grateful for what you are able to do, what you can do. When we look at each other in the mirror, at ourselves in the mirror, when we look at each other, let's be positive, let's praise each other, let's be kind to one another. I know it's difficult because there's so many videos, there's so many photos, there's a lot of footage out there of lean, skinny people. All we don't know is, a lot of that stuff has been so photoshopped. So don't look at that, don't compare yourself to that. You want to be the best that you can be, and it starts with your thought life. So guys, thank you for watching. And again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. There's a few other videos that will come up. We will talk more in detail still about nutrition. We will explore a little bit more in detail about hormones and everything that affects us and affect the weight that we gain. So from my side, I want to say just thank you again for watching, and we will see you guys soon.